Do not go where the path may lead. Go instead where there is no path and leave a trail. To quote Ralph Waldo Emerson. A very good morning to one and all present here. On behalf of the Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce at Raj College for Women, I welcome you all to the session of the International Conference 2023, The Circular Economy, a New Sustainability Paradigm. I now request Ms. Rajalakshmi M., Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce, to deliver the welcome address and introduce the speaker of the session.
Good morning. I take immense pleasure in welcoming the speaker of today's session, Dr. Gajavalli Venkateshwara. Dr. Gajavalli Venkateshwara is a professor of economic environment and finance and the chairman of Centers of Excellence for Sustainability, Growth and Development and Center for Corporate Governance at the Institute of Management Technology, Nagpur. Dr. Gajavalli has more than 28 years of experience in research, management, education, conceptualization, and administration of management programs, executive education, in-company training programs, faculty development programs, and consulting. He has handled several management development programs and executive certification programs at Asian Paints Limited, Solar Industries Limited, Magnus Ore India Limited, Bajaj Steel Industries Limited, Kirloskar Ferroras Industries Limited, Nestle India, Yashoda Pune, to name a few. He holds postgraduate degree in economics, wherein he secured the university first rank and was awarded the gold medal by the governor of Andhra Pradesh, Dr. Kumud Ben Joshi. Later, he pursued research at MPhil and doctoral levels and was awarded the degrees from Hyderabad Central University, Hyderabad, under the competent guidance of Dr. Narasimha Reddy and Dr. Jean Driss. By the way, Jean Driss happens to be the very close associate of the Nobel laureate, Dr. Amartya Sen. He has been trained in the participant-centered learning and case method at Harvard Business School, Boston, USA, and in case writing by professors from Richard Ivey Business School, Ontario, Canada. Both of these schools are considered to be the world leaders in the case method training and business management education. Sarah has been the visiting faculty in Burgundy School of Business, Dijon, Paris, France, and faculty of Business and Economics at University de Pengoro, Semarang, Indonesia, and several institutions in India, including Yashoda, Pune University, and Indian Institute of Management, IIM Nagpur. Dr. Gajavalli has presented and published several research papers in various national and international professional forums such as United Nations Environment Programme, Nairobi, Kenya, and International Society for Ecological.
Sir, now we kindly request to take over the session.
Okay, I think in between there was some kind of technical issue. Yeah, can I go ahead?
Yes, sir. Please. Thank you.
Yeah, very good morning to everybody in this particular conference. First of all, I congratulate the organizers, Etiraj College for Women, Madras University, and Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry. And my heartfelt congratulations for the management, the promoters of the college, and the patrons of the college, and the Department of Commerce, and the head of the department, the faculty, and Dr. Dhanalakshmi, who happened to contact me, and that is why I'm here today. So I'm congratulating all of you because this particular topic is at the center of various action dilemmas for organizations, for governments, and for society at large. So I once again congratulate the College for Women, Ethiraj College for Women, and Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry for having chosen this particular theme as a focus to really get deeper into the issues and come out with concrete solutions based on the research and possibly make some policy recommendations which are actionable in nature. I'm going to talk about the kind of research that is happening in this particular field and what basically the need of the hour and how the research has to take a shape, maybe at the fag end of my presentation, rather discussion. So my theme is going to be here, the circular economy, a new sustainability paradigm. So I'm Dr. Gajavellivs. I'm a professor and chairman, the Centers of Excellence in Sustainability, Growth and Development and Governance at Institute of Management Technology, Nagpur. When it comes to circular economy, yes, it is equivalent to that of using resources in a sustainable fashion. If we all of us aspiring to conceptualize, acquire expertise, and implement our actions, yes, circular economy is going to remove most of the negatives in our gross domestic product calculations and make this one important measure much more reliable and green friendly. So as I move forward, my quest here is basically to bring the concept, what exactly is the circular economy. Most of the researchers, most of the policymakers, and most of the managers, CEOs in organizations, to be frank, have no idea as to what is circular economy. Right. So I try to bring out the basic concept, the focus, the thrust of this particular, the frontier of knowledge, which is acquiring a lot more importance at the policy level and at the interest groups who are working towards sustainable future for current and future generations. And then I get into some of the ways for organizations, because when you look at any economy, producing goods and services, distributing and selling, finally resulting in the ultimate final consumption. So our production sectors, doesn't matter, they are there in the government sector, PSUs, or private sector, private corporate sector, or NGO sector. So there are certain ways where the organizations that actually account for the maximum chunk of production, distribution, and hence consumption in the economy can actually pursue and achieve their sustainability circular economy strategies for their own good. One more thing I want to highlight here, the 21st century started with a basic premise, assumption that the organizations are not here anymore to pursue just financial profits. Organizations here, as I mentioned, almost all sectors, the first priority is to be putting people, planet first. Then follows the pursuits of financial profits. So to what extent we are able to move forward? Let us see if we have some kind of understanding at the end of this 20-25 minutes interaction. Is it there is any way that I can expand the, excuse me, is it clear, my slide? Yeah, I proceed. So what is a circular economy? It's a model of production and consumption which involves sharing, reusing, repairing, recycling existing materials and products as long as possible. In this way, the cycle of the product is extended. So what are the possible implications when we are trying to increase the product life cycle with a pursuit of sustainability? Okay. So that way it is a planned obsolescence as against the conventional use and throw model. So this is the departure essentially from the conventional or traditional linear economic model, which is based on a take, make, consume, throw away pattern. So the conventional model relies on large quantities of cheap, easily accessible materials and energy. So it is based on the circular economy. What is the basic focus, the thrust of the circular economy? It is based on three principles driven by the design. First one is eliminate waste and pollution, circulate products and materials at their highest value. So what it means, at their highest value. For instance, we often look for low-cost airlines, right? That means most of us only prefer air travel as compared to land or other means. So low cost, but are we looking at the emissions that result from, most of us flying? Most of us rather trying to reduce our travel. So circulate products and materials, including services at their highest value, and regenerate nature. So that way it decouples economic activity from the consumption of finite resources. So trying to decouple, there are quite a few issues that we focus as we move forward. So why do we need to switch to a circular economy? The next question. The world's population, we all of us know, growing, and with it, the demand for raw materials, resources, finite resources. However, the supply, we all of us know, is not that elastic. It is finite. So finite supplies also mean some countries are dependent on other countries for their raw materials. So we are only trying to maximize the exploitation of resources. For instance, fossil-based fuels. So most of the countries not having those resources, they end up, for instance, including India. So we are all competing to exploit these finite resources. So that is one important issue here. So how soon we adopt to the new realities and adjust. In addition, extracting and using raw materials has a major impact on the environment. We all of us know it increases energy consumption and results in emissions. So a smarter use of raw materials can really lower emissions. But what are the challenges? What are the benefits? I just try to collect some important data and statistics. This is the publication by Platform for Accelerating the Circular Economy and World Resource Institute, published by David McGinty in 2021. 5 reasons to shift from a throw it away consumption model to a circular economy. So this is an evidence collected from across 100 organizations and more than 200 experts. They developed an action plan, okay, in the name of Circular Economy Action Agenda, a set of publications that analyzes the potential impact and call for action across 5 key sectors. We often keep reading about these sectors in the newspapers. Those who are, more aware of sustainable development, a circular economy, and so on and so forth. These are plastics, textiles, electronics, food, and capital equipment. So what are these 5 First one is make better use of finite resources. The circular economy concept is all about making better use of natural resources like forests, soil, water, air, metals, and minerals. Mostly, if you go to countryside, it is all about water and soil. If you take the textile industry, each year, huge quantities of fossil fuels are used to produce cloths from synthetic fibers, and textile production, including cotton farming, uses almost 100 billion cubic meters of water per year, approximately 4% of global freshwater withdrawal every year. So whether something can be done here. At the same time, people throw away still wearable clothes worth an estimated 460 billion each year. So if we economize, if we have a tendency to use resources in a sustainable fashion, what are the benefits? There is a startling revelation here if you focus on the textile economy. Research suggests that the purchase of 100 second-hand garments can displace the production of 85 new garments. And finally, it means ensuring that clothes at the end of their lifespan are collected and recycled into new clothes, further reducing use of resources. At this point, I just want to share one important aspect that I often share with my graduating managers and also in my executive education programs. We all of us know IKEA. IKEA's founder, Ingvar Kamprad. I think his business model, is essentially based on sustainable use of finite resources. So from where it starts? It starts with the thinking of the top management of organizations. Ingvar Kamprad, the founder of IKEA, now it is almost 50 billion euros worth of companies. He never used new clothes. He always used second-hand clothes. And he has never changed the car in which he traveled. So the sustainable use is something that is to be ingrained, that is to be given a thought, and that is where the ideas start and the implementation start. Second thing is, second important benefit is reduce emissions. About 45% of the global greenhouse gas emissions come from product use and manufacturing, as well as food production. So the circular economy strategy that reduce our use of resources can cut global greenhouse gas emissions by about roughly 40% and play a crucial role in averting the dangerous impact of climate change. We all of us are, rather experiencing the implications of the climate change. At the same time, we are passing through, wildfires, floods, extremes of variations in temperatures, whatnot. So we are already paying a price. Third important benefit of switching to circular economies: protect human health and biodiversity. Every year, more than 9 million deaths occur due to air, water, and soil pollution. This pollution also threatens biodiversity. I was reading somewhere the pollution-related, diseases, either lung cancer, whatever, the kind of money spent, I think we can lay maybe a dozen or more than dozen golden quadrilateral, projects in this country. So that is a kind of a money which is going just waste. But that money is accounted into our GDP calculations. So our GDP really reflects the value creation, or our GDP calculations are actually misleading our performance. I mean, these are certain questions. Designing products. So what is the solution? Designing products to be kept in use for longer, reduce the amount of waste produced, creating proper collection and processing systems, protect workers and the environment from hazardous materials. I think there are quite a few small video clips, 1 or 2 minutes, produced by Edinburgh, who is we all of us know about him. I think they are very, very insightful here. The kind of human activity and its impact on the biodiversity. So he was only trying to say, what we know about the biodiversity is not even 50%. So without our knowledge, we may be destroying the kind of a biodiversity organism that exists on the earth and supporting us, isn't it? So that is one important. So we are essentially trying to do all these things in a world that is not fully known to us. So that is a big question mark here. That is a big challenge here. So then the next question comes: how prudently, how sincerely we are working with the knowledge that exists, the data that exists, the information that exists. Are we sensitive? Are we acting? These are certain questions. And the fourth important benefit of circular economy: boosts economies. This is, I think, one of the important attraction, not only to companies, but also even for citizens, but also for policymakers, politicians, because everybody wants to perform on this. We want better incomes. Companies want better profits, because better income only facilitate greater volumes of sales, isn't it? And even the politicians in their specific positions, or the government, they want to actually perform in terms of better GDP figures and so on and so forth. So here the research shows that the circular economy offers a whopping 4.5 trillion economic opportunity by reducing waste, stimulating innovation, and creating jobs. New business model focus on reuse, repair, remanufacturing, and sharing offer significant innovation opportunities. So this not only boosts productivity, but also adding $4.5 trillion of economic activity. That means 4.5 trillion, roughly 1.5 size of the India's GDP. So that is a kind of a boost, economic boost, value creation that we are expecting. I think I will close in about maybe another 5 minutes maximum, and then I take create more and better jobs. I'm sure we all of us have been reading headlines, not only in Indian media, but also the global media. We are in a era of growth without jobs. Yeah, we have better GDP growths, but there are no commensurate job creation that is happening. Either maybe because of the kind of structural change that the GDPs are, undergoing more in towards technology, automation, and services, and so on and so forth. So this is something very important contribution, especially when we have growth without jobs. So transitioning to a circular economy could create, as per studies, a net increase of 6 million jobs by 2030. Making the most of this opportunity will require a clear focus on social and environmental justice. Again, social and environmental justice is something a very, very broad area, isn't it? Whether the policy, whether the private sector is convinced of these requirements. So these are certain challenges. I'm raising basically, for researchers who gathered here to be more focused, because these are the areas to study. These are the areas where you can actually come out with, advice, actionable advice to policymakers or to private sector, rather merely some policy recommendations. So there are many other associated benefits: reduction of costs of production and stock, optimization of purchase prices. As you boost innovation, productivity, obviously the prices tend to be lower. Reduction of the pressure on the environment, strengthen more and more business relationships, improvement of the security of the supply of raw material, because you tend to be more careful, more cautious. Yeah. Circular business model, maybe let me spend a few minutes, and maybe I need to skip a few slides here if you are falling short of time. So here, I think in the context of what we discussed at a macro level, so how decision makers, because the CEOs, managers, they are handling the maximum chunk of GDP production, distribution, and hence consumption. So how they perceive circular economy and the way and the kind of a business models that they can really ideate and implement. So it is easy to see why more and more manufacturing companies are talking about what is often called the circular economy, because this is the economy wherein the businesses create supply chains that recover, recycle the resource used to create their products. So that means sometimes you will be discarding a byproduct at a cost, but that byproduct can be recycled and you can come out with another product. So you are essentially trying to convert a cost into your revenue. So obviously this is going to be an important attraction. So shrinking their environmental footprint, trimming operational waste, because now it is a kind of a regulatory compliance across global markets, including India, and using expensive resources more efficiently are certainly a great attraction to decision makers in the private sector and also in the public sector. So I took a couple of articles from Harvard Business Review, and I was trying to go through, and I tried to capture a few important things. So in these papers, The study basically yeah, I will certainly come to the questions once I think, how can I this is blocking my presentation. Yeah, I will take the questions next maybe a few minutes. I'm just trying to close my, yeah. So in these papers, the studies basically argue that the circular economy based, tuned, adopted business model, its success depends on many factors, but perhaps the most important is choosing a strategy that aligns with the company capabilities and resources and their mission and vision statements. This is something very important. No company wants to do something that is off the track of their mission or vision statements and address the constraints on its operations. In this article, they identify the three basic strategies to achieve circularity and offer a tool to help manufacturers identify which is most likely to be economically sustainable. So their recommendations draw on the decades of research and consulting with the dozens of manufacturers across the world. So they basically Uh, most of the strategies to implement this kind of a business model is based on three important strategies. One is retained product ownership. Second, product life cycle extension. The first one is RPO. This is a very, very important model. Retain product ownership. Second, product life extension. And C, design for recycling. So what are the challenges here? Whether a company can adopt one or a combination of these. Retain product ownership. In the classic version of this approach, the producers rent or lease its product to the customers rather than selling it. I often come across friends, they had an idea of buying a new car, but they say that, in most of the metros, driving a car is so difficult, so they decided not to go for it. Rather, they go by Ola or Uber and, other aggregators. So that the producer is responsible for products when consumers have finished with them. So this is one way to implement the circular business model. And product life extension. Companies applying this strategy focus on designing products to last longer, which may open up possibilities for markets in used products. But durability is a key competitive differentiator and provides a strong rationale for premium pricing, as the case with outdoor clothing manufacturer and the luxury home appliances. This is where we can think of, for instance, Bosch. That is the best example here. Bosch Power Tool, for example, extends the life of its used tools by remanufacturing them, thereby enabling it to compete with new products from low-cost, low-quality producers. So this is also helping some manufacturers in fine-tuning their competitive advantage to win the market race. Design for recycling. Companies applying this strategy redesign their products and manufacturing process to maximize the recoverability of the materials involved for use in new products. So this strategy often involves partnering with companies that have specific technological expertise and that may be the best able to use materials recovered. So designing for recycling is one of the important challenges for organizations. I'm just going to the research. For instance, here, the kind of a win-win situation. The best example for design for recycling. The best example here is Adidas partnership with Parley for Oceans. So Parleys uses the plastic waste to make textile thread from which Adidas manufactures its shoes and apparel. So their partnership reduces the amount of plastic waste in the world oceans. I'm sure if you travel from Bombay to US, you can see oceans of plastic within the oceans, floating on the oceans. So maybe from the shores only, oceans look beautiful, but not when you travel across the oceans. So I'm just going quickly towards what kind of a research that exists in this field. I just take 1 minute. Current research in circular economy paradigm. I think these are few observations which I gathered from the research. I was scanning through last 1 week or 10 days. Ever since this assignment has come to me, there is a tremendous excitement about the circular economy research in academia, with a vibrant interdisciplinary research community having emerged around this topic in recent years, accounting for 63% of circular economy authors. They stem from natural sciences and 37% from the social sciences. Research output on the topic was jump-started by the initial Allen MacArthur Foundation report. I request researchers gathered here. This is a very important report. Since its publication, roughly 2,700 articles, maybe a little more than last 1 year or so, have been published on the topic circular economy. Already more than 750 in 2019. Overall, the literature corpus has grown by almost 600-fold since the report publication. But what is lacking in these publications? Findings reveal that scholarly work on circular economy has yet to translate into practice, where the current existing research is able to give a actionable advice either to the private sector or to the policymakers. So that is a very big area to be explored. So after all, the world is only 9% circular so far. This is what the studies say. Okay, in their study on circularity gap report. So from across, we also do some kind of a work here at the Centers of Excellence for Sustainability and Governance. To lose interest in circular economy again. So this is where the role of researchers lies. Yeah, we need to come out with a actionable advice, and based on concrete evidence and prudent research. What is the first observation? There is a lack of empirical work on circular economy. Observation 2, much empirical work on circular economy is also relatively small. If you go to publish and perish and you click, how much research work that you get on this vis-a-vis other areas. Observation 3, most circular economy work is focused on manufacturing. In India, manufacturing is only 25-26. How about the rest? You have another roughly 3/4 of the economy driven by the services, driven by the agriculture, allied activities. Observation 4, there is significant bias in the circular economy literature towards more developed economies. How about much of the world lives in emerging markets, developing economies, third world economies. So we need to focus more on the researchers need to adopt or create models that suit the developing societies, that suit the emerging societies, that suit the underdeveloped societies. Not to borrow, because I'm telling my own experience, and I disproved none of the models that we borrow from West work in India's context or in Asia Pacific region. So observation 5, the circular economy literature lacks actionable advice. So with these few inputs, I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. This assignment has actually made me to work, and I learned a lot while trying to prepare for this particular talk. Thanks a lot for this opportunity. So if you have any questions, you are most welcome.
Thank you so much, sir, for illuminating this session. Yes, sir. Let's move on to the first questions. What are the different ways in which an individual is blocking the circle in an economy unknowingly?
Because you are doing it unknowingly because you don't have the awareness. There is no drive. See, I have 1,000 students on the campus. If I directly go and ask, what is a circular economy? I think I may not get a response from more than 10%. So, this is the kind of awareness. So, who has to bring the awareness? Somewhere it is to start. It is to start from the top, isn't it? The policy has to, a big role here. And it is also, as awareness increases, it is also a responsibility, isn't it? For instance, I was going through, some program on the TV. At a higher income bracket, in metros, one family owning 4 cars. Do you justify? Where is the parking space? You are making the roads congested, parking, other vehicles just on the roadsides, isn't it? So it is first awareness has to come. Then you need to change your mindset. You need to be more conscious, right?
Yes.
So this is the way. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
What steps do you suggest to be taken from the school level to educate the students practically to sow the roots of recycling? Yeah, at the school level, I think there is environmental, related subjects to be introduced, and it is to be a part of every stream, whether it is social sciences, engineering, medicine, law, any stream that you talk about. Yeah. So that is where the first step has to be. Yeah.
What do you
What do you-
consider to be the vision or end goal of the concept of circular economy?
Yeah. Vision and the end goal of the concept circular economy is to have a very high value living. I say high value living. Yeah. You are purchasing a product, you are purchasing a service. Yeah. So it has a minimal component of, say, carbon footprints. Yeah. The product is manufactured with that environmental awareness. So it has less negatives and more positives. So that way, even your GDP become more reliable. So maybe one fine day, your GDP can be called as a green GDP. So there is nothing like that you need to adjust GDP for environmental degradation. Yes, I say it is a high value living for all of us, not only for the current generation, but also for future generations.
Yes, sir. That was very insightful. Thank you for answering all patiently all the questions, sir.
I think there
Now
was
I
one
call
more question.
upon.
There was one more question just before these two questions. Can I just go back and see if you? What steps? I think prior to this.
And this was the question, sir.
It's the same question? Fine. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Now I call upon Ms. Lavanya Vidi, third year of BCom, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Gratitude is a sign of noble souls. To quote Aesop, on behalf of the Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce, Ethiraj College for Women, I take this opportunity to express my sincere thanks to Dr. Gajavelli Venkateshwara, Professor and Chairperson, Centers of Excellence for Sustainability and Corporate Governance, for providing us his valuable inputs on the topic, the circular economy and new sustainability paradigm. Thank you, sir, for throwing lights on the better use of resources and how to extend the life cycle of the products. I'm sure that this session would have enhanced the knowledge of the students. Thank you all once again.
Thank you so much for all of you, and good luck for all the researchers who gathered here. Yeah. And I wish a very, very successful, the research interface for today and tomorrow. Good luck to all the researchers, policymakers, industry experts, consultants gathered here. Thank you so much for this
Thank you, sir.
opportunity. Yeah.